Hi Virgo, welcome to your monthly reading for February 2024. Thank you as always to everyone who watches, likes, shares, comments on the video and subscribes to the channel. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. These are from the oracle decks I'm going to be using for today's reading. As you can see, Beautiful Creatures is actually a tarot deck, but I'm feeling like it's an oracle deck at present, so that's how I'm going to use it. And we are in Aquarius season. This has given me Aquarius vibes for this month's readings. And one of the themes with Aquarius is innovation, doing things differently, doing something in a new way. For me, using a tarot deck as an oracle deck is doing it in a different way, isn't it? As I said, we're in Aquarius season at present, and there have been some pretty big astrological transits that have involved Aquarius in January. So the 20th, 21st, we had Pluto go into Aquarius after being in Capricorn for 15 years. So it is a massive new sort of era for everyone collectively and individually. I've done a video on that. So it was for the full moon. It included messages, individual tarot messages for the full moon, for Pluto going into Aquarius, and also for a conjunction that happened between the Sun and Pluto in Capricorn as well. So it was the last degree of Capricorn. So as I say, it all feels like a massive change. If you are interested in that video, because there are it's messages that may be relevant for the next couple of decades, to be honest. Potentially the ones to do with the Pluto going into Aquarius in particular. But that video, I'll put a link to it at the on the end screen. It'll be like, you know, like the little card video, whatever you call it, on the end screen, if you want to see that. But we're going to get into your reading now. So we're going to start off with a message from the Beautiful Creatures deck, and then we will get one from the Power of Surrender as well. So for Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising, what is your main theme or focal point for February 2024? What do you need to know? So main theme for, I nearly said Aquarius then, Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising for February 2024. What's the main theme? So you have got, is it two? Better be two and not three. Okay, yeah. Oh, you've got 2 cups cards actually. Interesting. And I was trying to avoid thinking about it because I don't want it to influence the reading. But I believe with the Sun being in Aquarius at the minute, and the Pluto Aquarius situation, it affects your 8th house, which is Scorpio, which is this. So King of Cups is Scorpio. You've got the symbol there. You've got both water cups, and it's almost like a progression as well, like when you go from the Knight to the King. But what was the other part I was going to make? So the 8th house, it's Scorpio energy, yeah. So it can be to do with rebirth, transformation, sex, intimacy, those kind of things. With these cups and emotions, there could be something, and I was thinking it before I even started the reading, actually. Intimacy was like the first thought that came to my head when I was preparing the cards for you. But as I say, I try not to sort of let things influence what I'm thinking before I do the reading. But I will put these there. Hopefully you can see that. Can you? I know my camera's in a bit of a weird position today. I am going to read these messages from the book. I know that for myself, I know what it means. And for people that follow tarot or are very much into tarot, you probably know what they mean. But every tarot deck has its own take on the meanings. And sometimes it's nice to remind yourself as well of the different meanings that there can be. Because even as readers, we can forget. You know, sometimes you'll be doing a reading and then you'll get an intuitive hit on something and it'll be like, oh yeah, I forgot that it can mean that as well. So yeah. But anyway, let's get you a Power of Surrender card. I'm intrigued by the fact that you've got 2 cups cards as your, like, well, I'm calling them oracle messages at this point. There's a card in this deck, the Power of Surrender deck, called Surrender to Intimacy. So if that comes up, it's going to be hilarious. Well, not hilarious as in it's a joke, but you know what I mean. So let's see what comes out. So for Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising, what do we need to know? Surrender your ego. So it says, cultivate gratitude, be of service to others and come from your heart. A big ego can work against you, but humility will further your goals. Okay. And I think out of all the kings, I'm going to put that on top actually. I think that's better like that. Out of all of the kings, the King of Cups, do we think the King of Cups could be the most humble? Not to say the other kings are assholes, but so I know with the King of Wands, he can be really assertive and aggressive, and like you'd think that he has the potential to have the biggest ego. And even with the King of Swords as well, because the King of Swords is about authority. So, you know, and I don't necessarily mean ego in just in negative terms. You know, there's a whole spectrum of ego, isn't there, where it doesn't all have to be bad. The King of Pentacles, I mean, he can be very nurturing, but he's really practical. But because the King of Cups is more on the emotional side, you think of a certain level of humility there. And then the Knight of Cups, it says empathy. What is the opposite of ego? Is it empathy? I don't know, but it's interesting that that comes up there. So, right, let's have a read of these messages. So I'm going to start off with the Knight of Cups. I'm going to go with the progression. And I only just realised after I can't remember who's reading it, could have been Gemini or something, that the way they do this index is because they've got the symbols for each astrological sign on here. So that would be Pisces, I believe. Yeah, it's their Pisces symbol, Scorpio symbol. With the court cards, they, you know, like in a lot of books, they'll do it as all the queens together, all the kings together, or they'll do it as all the suits, like all the swords or all the pentacles. This one, it does it in order of astrological signs. So before the the King of Cups, you would have, what is it, the Queen of Swords, because she's Libra. After him, you would have Knight of Wands, because it's Sagittarius. But anyway, let's get on with it. So Knight of Cups, it's helped me because I was looking in this book thinking, I don't understand how they've indexed this. It's really weird. And then I clocked it. So I'm now looking for Pisces, which is, it's going to be the last one, isn't it? Or not? Ah, the pages. So I've just learned something new, that I haven't done the pages in this. They've just done the pages as the element, not the because the pages don't, in tarot, they don't typically have an astrological sign. I mean, we can associate things with them. Like I would say the Page of Cups is Pisces, and I'd probably say the Page of Pentacles is who would it be for me? Probably Capricorn. No, I'm not sure actually. I'm not going to say. Page of Swords I would class as a Gemini. The Pentacles one is a bit of a debate, actually. I think it might be Taurus, but that one's a bit of more of a debate. And the Page of Wands, I think we usually think of it as Aries, but it doesn't have an official sign, whereas the other court cards do. But anyway, Knight of Cups, it says, let's make sure it's clear. It says, I believe you should try and put yourself in someone else's shoes. Keyword, as it says here, empathy. A dainty mermaid charges her psychic powers with the energy of the waves of the ocean. She has swum the 7 seas and has gone thousands of feet below the water and has aided all sea creatures to follow their intuition when they feel lost and bewildered. She also has helped people who travel through the water. The energy of the Knight of Cups is sympathetic, sensitive, and compassionate. The Knight, ruled by the moon, the planet of feelings and intuition, is associated with Pisces, who is an empathic archetype. Pisces rules the occult and psychic abilities. So the archetype message says, the Knight of Cups denotes a person who is compassionate towards living things. They do their best to keep these things happy and healthy. They share how they feel about them and see to it that they are well taken care of. They are very empathic and tend to feel what other people are going through and can reason with them. They don't judge. Instead, they do their very best to understand by hearing what is said. On the negative side, the Knight of Cups may also be unrealistic and fanatical about things that are impossible to obtain. They have a habit of making up a dreamland in their heads and then filling it up with air. To convince them that it is not real is impossible. If you happen to burst their bubble, they may become nasty towards you and try to make you feel guilty. As a situation, the Knight of Cups represents a situation where you will have to learn to be empathic and understanding to people around you. You may find much common ground that will help you open your feelings towards all living beings and things. And you may even help someone to open up to you or someone else. On the negative side, avoid being unrealistic. It is time to wake up and know that there are things, excuse me, getting a tickly throat, that are impossible to obtain or may take a very long time to happen. It is time to put your feet on the ground. Excuse me. So there is a theme of compassion for me with the King of Cups and the Knight of Cups as well. But let's do the King of Cups message. Wow, the page opened straight onto that. Brilliant. So it says, I want you to guard and take good care of what you love the most. And the key word is fascination, which is here. So it says, a mysterious girl and her pet scorpion search throughout the world for living creatures who have not known what passion is or feels like. Once they find them, they will help them find something that they can apply their best interest to. When this happens, they will know what it is like to be passionate. The energy of the King of Cups is sensual, vibrant, and magnetic. The King, ruled by Pluto, the entity of regeneration and final outcomes, is associated with Scorpio, who embodies a passionate archetype. Scorpio rules intimacy and death. The archetype message says the King of Cups denotes a person who is ardently passionate about their creative venues and all that pleases them. When they feel something in their bones, they know that it is a sure thing, and they will stop at nothing to obtain it. Once this thing is in their possession, they will protect it until they can no more. On the negative side, this may also be a person who becomes too obsessive over irrelevant things and that serve no purpose. These things may be the simplest issues that turn into bigger issues. It is very difficult to talk them out of something even though you know it serves no purpose for them. As a situation, the King of Cups represents a situation where you may want to be passionate over something to have a sense of fulfillment. In order for you to be passionate for it, it must be something that you know will bring you absolute fulfillment. It must also serve a purpose in your life and help you in any possible way. On the negative side, you may want to be careful not to become too obsessive over things that have no solution or hope. These things will only lead you in the wrong direction and will eliminate your sense of finding what is really out there for you. You will have to learn to detach from these things. Right, so I know that was a lot to take in. We're going to get your tarot cards, which I meant to do as soon as I'd gotten these out, and I just forgot. So yeah, but let's get them out now. What do we need to know for Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising? What do we need to know? So main theme. I'm going to try that again. You've got the Nine of Pentacles, but that did not feel, just did not feel right. It felt like it kind of slipped out rather than was meant to come out. So Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising, what do they need to know? You've got Three of Swords. Ooh, okay, yeah. There is an energy, I don't know if it's just because specifically because of the messages I've read, but seeing that Three of Swords and the Emperor, and I suppose because the Ego card is there as well, there may be a situation in your life or a person in your life where you may need to be a little bit more sympathetic towards them. That's one message. We'll see what else comes out. If not you, so if it's not that, then somebody needs to be more sympathetic to you. But let's see what else comes out. Your energy specifically. Yeah, Hanged Man. It's really weird. I'm feeling the Hanged Man has been closed off to someone. And that's, I don't think I've ever, I mean, obviously the Hanged Man can be where someone keeps to themselves to figure something out. But, you know, like, it feels like it could be a specific situation where, and sometimes it can be, okay, so, you know, like if somebody, and it's strange because I know someone like this actually myself. I'm not going to say who they are because that's private. But, you know, like if you have someone that cries wolf, you've had someone that cries wolf where there's always something going on. You've always been there and always helped them. And then it came to a situation where you realize, actually, this person's taking the absolute piss. They could be full of shit. It could be that just in that situation they were taking advantage. But you get to the point where it's like you realize that they cried wolf. And then you don't want to know anymore. And that's what this feels like. And there could be something, I mean, it could be that they've cried wolf and you realised it, and then they later on at some point come back wanting help with something else. But because they cried wolf the last time, it's like, no, nah, not going to happen. But there could be something genuinely going on at this point where they actually do need a little bit more sympathy. But anyway, let's see what the external energy is. That's an odd energy to come in. But, and as I said, I do have someone in my life where I've always supported the person, and it did get to a situation where I realized, actually, you know what, they've been manipulative all along. I didn't realize it. Well, or I kind of did, but I kind of didn't want to see it. And it's like, so now if that person came back to me asking for help with anything, I wouldn't trust them because of what they've their behavior and the things they've done and said, it's like you get to a point where it's like, I can't trust you now. Even if you were telling the truth, it's at a point where I don't trust you. I feel that whatever you say and do, you're trying to manipulate me. It's very sad, but right, so external energy. 10 of Pentacles. No, saying no. Okay, try that again. Okay, so we've got the 10 of Wands, and what is this? You've got the Knight of Pentacles. I don't like that energy, to be honest with you. We'll see what happens. I'm not keen on the energy, but let's see what happens. Yeah, it's giving me that weird, that gut feeling of something not quite being right. It's given, I'll be honest, because there's no point hiding what I'm thinking. Again, it's that cried wolf energy. So it's an energy where, you know, like if somebody came to you with their problems and burdens and they said that they were struggling with that 10 of Wands, but really, really the issue was that they just weren't doing everything that they could to sort themselves out. Yeah, they're not trying to help themselves. But anyway, let's continue. Let's do past energy for this. So we have the 2 of Wands and the 4 of Swords. Let's do the current energy for you. And that Knight of Pentacles, it is a Virgo card, isn't it? So it's like, that's what, if you were in that situation, if you, like as Virgo energy I'm speaking of, it doesn't necessarily mean you, but as a Virgo energy, if you were in a situation where you had those kind of burdens, your energy in Virgo energy, in the strong Virgo energy would be, right, I've got an issue, what's the problem, what can I do to fix it, and then coming up with a plan and committing to it and getting shit done. Basically, that would be strong, high vibe, whatever you want to call it, Virgo energy. So yeah, I don't know why that's standing out. It's like, I don't know if it's because if somebody's coming to you with some problem and you're like, no, you've cried wolf too many times. It's like you look at them and you sort of think, you're bringing this to me, but you're not dealing with shit yourself. And that could be any number of ways. It could be in your personal life with a specific person or specific people. It could even be in a work situation, whether it is colleagues that are just not pulling their weight, or, you know, like if you work in a job where you assist people. So that could be for someone where you're in a job where you assist people, and it's like you realize where they're taking the piss, you know, like, I don't know, you know, like if somebody's trying to claim insurance for something and you realize that, no, you're just taking the piss now. It could be a number of things, but that's, yeah, those are a few things that come to mind. However, there is still this thing about having, it doesn't mean you let them get away with anything, but still needing to have that sympathy, because when we get into situations where you're always having to be on guard because people cry wolf or people take advantage or people take the piss, it can make you become hardened and have a hardened exterior and lose that compassionate side of yourself, can't it? I don't know why that's coming all of a sudden, but anyway, let's look at the current or present energy. You can lose faith in people. That's been a theme that's come up for probably you're about the 3rd reading it's come up for this month. And I mean, with you, it doesn't surprise me because you're, as I say, the 8th house with Pluto and Aquarius in the 8th house for you. It's one of the themes is intimacy. It said it here, didn't it? Intimacy is relevant. But anyway, current or present energy. Yes to those two. Okay. I don't know which way they go though. I'm going to put them up. That feels like protection, protective energy. Like you'd kind of just looking out for yourself. Although the 4 of Pentacles can get to the point of being overly protective and then with strength. I mean, it could be just that you need the courage to protect yourself. And we'll see what clarifies it. But with strength, it could also be the opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like now that's where the hardened exterior comes in. And it's making me think of the pose is like a crab, isn't it? It's not, it's not a Cancerian card. It would be, no, it's Capricorn actually. I think 4 of Pentacles is Sun in Capricorn. But the pose is like a crab, and what do crabs have? Crabs have a hardened exterior. Very soft and sensitive inside, but have a hard exterior. Right, so Let's look at your potential future energy. Potential future energy, Empress. Well, that's good. I like that because, right, that's interesting because that tells me that if you've been or are in any situation where you sort of become, let's say jaded, actually, jaded is the word I'm looking for, because that's when you've experienced too much bullshit and you're like, nah, I don't trust anyone or anything anymore. If you become jaded, then the Empress and the Queen of Swords is a good energy. And I think, who was it that got this? Was it Pisces that got a very similar energy of, or I can't remember, it could have been Gemini, whose reading I just did, about having a balance of curiosity and discernment. For me, the Empress, she is still nurturing, isn't she? And obviously the Empress is all the queens rolled into one, but then with that Queen of Swords, it's like an extra dose of being nurturing, but then with the Queen of Swords having that extra dose of discernment as well. And that's good. If you've been overly protected, have developed a hard exterior, future wise, it looks like sort of loosening the reins and being a bit more, getting that sense of compassion and sympathy back. Let's get your advice. And I know your reading is going to be long because I'm talking so much, but the messages are coming through thick and fast. So this is advice for you to start. Oh, that's nice. Yeah, it's similar to whichever reading I did, whether it was Pisces or Gemini or whoever. It's having faith being restored. So let us get into the clarifiers for this. And let's look at that Three of Swords and the Emperor for you, first of all. Three of Swords, Emperor, please. We have the Wheel of Fortune. Six of Cups. Three of Cups. And the Star again. Right, I'm just going to look at the Wheel of Fortune, maybe the Six of Cups, but I kind of know where I am with that. So Wheel of Fortune. I'm going to try that again. Wheel of Fortune, because it didn't come out properly. No. Although that does make sense. That does make sense. And, you know, I think I'm going to have to take them because the Moon and the Five of Pentacles came out before. So, let me just get one more for that Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, 100%. This energy is really strong. It could even just be for one person specifically. So for me, okay, let me do the Six of Cups actually, and then I'll say what I'm thinking. One more. Okay, one more after that. That's a lot of different people, that is. Wow, that's interesting. Right, so I feel like this Emperor, the Three of Swords, as an overall energy, that's the hardened exterior. The Three of Swords is obviously pain, hurt. The Emperor, it's the daddy of the tarot, isn't it? It's the big boss. It's the person that wouldn't take any shit. Like, nobody could take advantage of them. And I feel that may be the point that you've gotten to. As I say, whether it relates to just a specific situation, a specific person, group of people, or overall in your life, it feels like this is where the Wheel of Fortune, that's where something changed. That's where something changed for you, where previously you may have been very, very, very nurturing, possibly to the point of excess. There were probably situations where people's intentions weren't very clear, and it ended up leaving you out in the cold and disappointing you, and you may have had to defend yourself. In fact, you may have stood up for people that weren't really deserving of you standing up for them. Possibly, that's something that comes to mind as well. Reference to the past again, I mean, it's just the overall the change. Again, I would say the King of Pentacles and the Knight of Swords, I would say, is your energy. That King of Pentacles is a very supportive, practically supportive in particular, but also nurturing as well, supportive energy. That's the person that you go to when you need help. There may have been something financial here where you've helped someone out financially. That comes to mind for someone. But yeah, practical support, just generally supportive. To me, it looks like that Knight of Swords, Knight of Wands energy. I feel like this is an external or external energies in general of, you know, where I said here, it looks like somebody, they've got burdens, they've got problems, but it's kind of like it's because they're not taking responsibility, they've kind of brought it on themselves, or whatever problems they've gotten into, they're for whatever reason they're just not taking responsibility and dealing with their shit. So it's kind of the Knight of Wands, it kind of represents that. It's kind of that frivolous energy of there's a little bit of selfishness in there, but it's more like there's an irresponsibility about it as well, of just, oh, I just want to be able to go off and do what I want. And you may have had to tell someone some home truths and possibly cut ties with them as well. Like there would have been a massive change in the relationship with that person, whether it is a friend, romantic, family, whatever, work colleague, whatever the relationship is. I can just imagine the Knight of Swords being Virgo, you Virgo, telling this person about themselves frankly, and just boundaries, cutting ties, whatever. Excuse me. So when we see here the Three of Cups now, where we see the Three of Cups now and the Star, let me just get something for the Three of Cups, because it is a card of support. So it may be just the overall energy saying that although the hard exterior is there now, and yes, 100% you do need to have boundaries with people, it's to remember that you can still be supportive and have faith in people as well. You know, not to let the hardened exterior become so hard that it's just a complete wall. But let's look at the Three of Cups. Okay, I think I know what that means. Let's just try that again, one more. It's about needing the balance. Where you may have been supportive in the past and it was absolute bloody chaos, if you've tried to help someone and they're just not pulling their own weight, it's about needing the balance. Yes, have hope and faith in people, be supportive, and having the boundaries. So it's just pretty much what I've already said. So I'll take these away. And as I say, it might just be, I've taken an extra card there, it doesn't matter. It might just be with one person or one situation. It doesn't mean that you are just someone that, you might not be someone who's been a complete doormat, you know, or for some, it can even be a person from your past, where that person in the past, however long ago that was someone that took advantage or cried wolf, and they appear again in your life somehow asking for help. You know, sometimes you're going to have like prodigal relatives where they've disappeared for 10 years and then they come back asking for help. And it's like, no, in the past, all you did was take the piss with me. But this is an opportunity. If it was something like that where they did come back, I mean, you know, give them a chance, hear them out, but have that massive bullshit detector within you to sort of know what's going on. But let's look at the Hanged Man. So Hanged Man, as I say, that's your energy, and it feels like shutting someone out or people out, making sure that is the bullshit ometer, if you want to call it that, of trying to figure things out and blocking everything out so that you can trust your own senses and your inner knowing, what you've learned from the situation, how you feel, everything internally to you, using that to figure out what the hell is going on here. Is this person trustworthy, you know, that sort of thing. So Hanged Man, there, yeah, again, Four of Swords, that is a card of contemplation for me. And again, it's somebody who they're shutting the noise out, aren't they? It's almost like she's in meditation, lying there. You know, the cobwebs in this are really creepy, aren't they? Why not clean them? But anyway, she's to herself, mulling it over without any interference. Right, you got the Eight of Pentacles. What else is there as well? And this may not be just people. It could be situations, like for example, in jobs. If you've ended up in a shitty situation with jobs or business partners or projects or anything like that, and you've had shitty experiences there, it's now developing that sense of you want to be compassionate and open and welcoming, but still have that discernment as well where nobody can get one over on you, basically. So let's see what else comes up here. Anything else with that Hanged Man? So we have the Two of Swords. Interesting. Right, I'm going to get... I kind of know what it means, to be honest, but I'll get one for the Tower anyway. It's all just part of figuring... Yeah, I'll just leave it there. It's all part of figuring it out. I mean, the Eight of Pentacles. Let me get one for that. That, to me, that is... It's kind of like... Then this follows on almost from the last reading, which was Leo. It's like practicing what you've learned. I felt like saying practice what you preach then, but I don't know why. But practicing what you've learned, practicing that sense of discernment. I'll get one more for that. That Queen of Wands feels like confidence. Being confident in what you think. I was gonna say what you think you know, or what you know. King of Swords, and then but with the Page of Swords, that is the... It's an exploration energy, isn't it? It's an energy of seeing, seeing what happens as well. The Two of Swords, it can be too... For me, this card, it really often feels like taking a risk. I know in the book, it's just saying, oh, she's got a decision to make and she's making a silly choice. She's trying to use the board to help her make a decision of what's right, and it's a silly choice. But it feels like a risk to me. It always has, well, often has done. And again, that's the two truths. What's real, what's fake, blah, blah, blah. Figuring that out. And then you've got the Tower there, which to me, it doesn't... I don't feel like that's happened, but it's just deciding, again, is this bullshit? Or is it genuine? The Ace of Pentacles, it just feels like deciding if something's genuine. I guess with the Tower and the Ace of Pentacles, that would say that it's not. So, yeah, maybe for some of you, yeah, this could be the energies of that crying wolf thing. It could be recent, and that the Tower and the Ace of Pentacles could represent that energy of something falling to shit because someone cried wolf. But for the most part, it's assessment of what feels real and what feels fake, to be honest. So we'll move these out of the way. So there could be an opportunity for someone. If it isn't relationships, there could be a specific opportunity where you're trying to feel it out and judge if it's the best thing for you. Let's have a look at this Ten of Wands and Knight of Pentacles energy. And for some, the message would be that although you have had someone or people that, or situations that have cried wolf in your life, as I say, it's just a reminder not to have such a hardened exterior, that there are still decent people in the world as well. Right, so Ten of Wands and Knight of Pentacles. And it's like, and thinking about that, what I just said about the bullshitometer, I think if we're going to have a bullshitometer, then we need a, I don't even know, what would the opposite of a bullshitometer be? A sincerity-ometer. Because we're going to have to balance it out, aren't we? You can't just have one. So you have your bullshitometer, you have your sincerity-ometer, and, you know, be aware of that too, of when people are being genuine and sincere to, why can't I say that word today? Don't just focus on the negative. You know, like when people speak about red flags and green flags, and people tend to focus on the red flags. It's like, no, focus on both and see what the balance is there. But anyway, right, so we've got the Temperance card, the Knight of Pentacles again, clarifying the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles now, which is the external energies. No, so it was going to be the Ace of Cups, but let's see. Anything else? Three of Pentacles. You've got the Strength card, Strength card, and the Ace of Wands. You know what I love about this? What I've just realised with that Temperance card, she's got one eye open, hasn't she? She's got one eye open. So you know how people say, I'm going to sleep with one eye open when they don't trust someone? It's making me think of that. There's something about this strength card that is, it's making me think of trust. It's making me think of trust quite strongly. I'm going to look at the Ace of Wands and it's okay. I think that Ace of Wands is more about new beginnings, and I do have a meaning for the whole thing, but let me just get one. What did I say? The Ace of Wands. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, these end cards here, well, all of them to be honest, it's about deciding if someone's trustworthy or not. So again, if there is a specific person or situation in your life where there is a trust issue, this could represent their energy. As I say, it could be for some of you, it could be that you're coming back into contact with them somehow. And it's almost like the whole thing is about, it does represent their energy with the Ten of Wands and the Knight of Pentacles, as maybe they weren't trustworthy in the past, maybe they're not trustworthy now. But all in all, this is about you assessing assessing the situation. That Temperance card, as I said, it feels like that sleeping with one eye open. It's almost like with the Knight of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles, it's where they would need to gain your trust. If you are choosing to let them back in, it's if they can prove it. The Knight of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles, strength is proving what is this about? Are you here to be genuine? Are you what's the word I come up with for the Knight of Pentacles often? Honorable. Are you honorable? Do you have something honorable to bring to the table? If we're gonna be around each other again with that Three of Pentacles. And as I say, the Strength card, it feels like trust. It's almost like they have to build. You would need them to build your trust. The Knight of Pentacles would have to work on regaining your trust. You'd have to observe carefully over time how they interact with you and what their behaviors are, what they do, you know, are their words matching up with their actions. And the Ace of Wands is like a new chapter. So it's like, if you can prove all this to me, then I'll decide whether or not we can have a new chapter, whether or not you are genuine or not. And the Knight of the devil is like the concerns about whether the person would be genuine or the situation would be genuine, sincere, honorable, etc. The Knight of Swords, again, it's sort of needing that proof. It's a need for proof that it will be balanced, give and take. It would be honorable, an honorable situation, no more bullshit. The Hanged Man, again, is just that assessment type energy of the person or the situation. So I'll leave that there. And I think I would be careful as well of I told you so kind of vibes, where the ego card comes in, you know, like even if it's something where there's multiple people involved, you know, like say if your spouse is ex or something, like they had kids with the ex and the ex comes back in and blah, blah, blah. But you know that this ex has had a history of being a bit of an asshole and they decide to come back in and they're trying to prove themselves. Whether or not the person is able to prove themselves as being honorable now, you know, it never helps to say to it, like say if your spouse was happy to kind of, well, not happy but more welcoming of them, but you were like really suspicious, it doesn't help for you to be like, if something goes wrong, oh well, I told you so, I told you that they were going to be do whatever again, you know. Obviously you can't deny if they mess up again, but it just doesn't help, does it? It doesn't help to have someone in the ear saying I told you so. And that's just one example. It could be anything, you know, like in families as well, where you have like a prodigal daughter or son and everybody else in the family is against them coming back, and the parents happy to have them back and try and give them a chance, but everybody else is like, oh no, they're just going to F it up again. And if they do F up, it's like, oh, I told you so. It's like, well, no, that's not helpful. The parent wants their child to come back because they have a bond with them, don't they? So you can't deny them that. You can't begrudge them that. Even if something does go wrong, they're going to be hurt. So why add fuel to the fire and kick them while they're down? Anyway, I don't know why that came in. Right, Four of Swords, Two of Wands. I think it's just because of that ego stuff, because that's part of an ego as well, isn't it? Telling people I told you so. And I've talked about this before in readings, saying it's just not helpful. There's no benefit to it. Anyway, Four of Swords, Two of Wands. So that's your past energy. Right, Ten of Cups in reverse. Nine of Cups. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. This is where you would have had to choose to cut yourself off from the person or detach, or yeah, I think it's more about detachment, because there's this song and I have no idea who sings it. It's the artist, a UK artist. I don't know if there's something that the person's got Alice in the name of the group or the singer or something, Alice something, and it's a dance. I don't know if I'm not a fan of like dance music, but it's playing in my head, this song called Better Off Alone. And I think there's multiple songs called Better Off Alone actually, but this dance one is sticking in my head at the minute. Where this is what this energy is making me think of. The two of, as I say, two of wands is it's like where you've had to choose to detach. 10 of cups, that would be shared happiness, but it's in reverse. So it's recognizing that no, there can't be that sense of peace and happiness with this person because or situation, because it's not right. It's well, 9 of swords, it's stressful for a start. It's like better off on your own, happier on your own, away from that person or situation. The rejection here, it could be them that rejected you, you that rejected them, you reject each other, but either way, it's detachment. So I'm not going to sub-clarify any of that. Present energy, strength, Four of Pentacles. As I said, it could be that you're being a little bit overly protective at this point in time, or it's just having that bullshitometer. But let's see what comes out. So strength, Four of Pentacles. So we've got the Five of Wands, we've got the Magician, the Hanged Man again. How many times is that Hanged Man going to appear in this reading? Ace of Pentacles. Okay, I'm just out of curiosity going to get one for the Hanged Man, even though I'm pretty sure it's pretty much the same thing to what I've been going on about for the past how many minutes. Not that. Although actually, what's that? Ooh, I'm going to keep him actually. It's figuring out someone's intentions. It's using your intuition to decide what someone's intentions are, to make sense of it, even if they're not blatantly clear, or even if someone is portraying themselves a certain way, it's just still the assessment. So that is just in each part of the reading, it's just that assessment. Let's look at the Five of Wands, because it can be literal. You could be protecting yourself against this energy, the energy of conflict and whatever. Let's see, Five of Wands. Try that again. That was the Page of Pentacles that wanted to come out. So Five of Wands, what do we need to know? There we go. 10 of Pentacles. For someone, this whole thing could be a family issue because of that 10 of Pentacles being there and the Four of Wands. There could be something to do with someone's family. It could be, and when I say family, it can be your extended family. You've got the Four of Wands there, so it could be in your actual home life as well. There may be a person here who is that King of Cups energy where, let's get one for the King of Cups. Why is the King of Cups in the middle of this? I'm going to look at it, but I'm not going to take it. We've got the World. Why is the King of Cups in the middle of this? I think it's just speaking of a need. I don't know if it's where when people are too honest, it causes arguments, or people need to be more honest about how they feel because there's conflict. Let's get one more for that King of Cups. I think people need to be more, or someone in particular may need to be more more honest about things, about how they feel in the situation. More forthcoming, however you want to put it, and be more open and honest about what they want, about what direction they want to take things in as well. So one way that can come into things is, if like there's family issues going on, if there's disagreements with a bunch of family members, it's almost like somebody needs to take the lead. I don't know how to say that, but so like, let's go back to the parents and kids. If there's arguments between siblings and there's a parent, it's almost like the parent has to take control and sit everybody down and not sort it out for them, but sort of take the lead and tell everyone, get your shit together, you know, that kind of thing. Because it's like everybody's left a sort of chaos. That's one way that it can work. Again, you know, like that thing I was talking about, say, you know, step kids and step parents and stuff like that. It's almost like somebody, the person that's in the middle, where they've got a new partner, old partner, however you want to put it, it's like they would need to take the lead to set boundaries and whatever, to direct things, to take the power back. And those are just two examples, because obviously everyone's situation is different. But as I say, I can see the conflict. And yet it feels like somebody needs to take the lead. And it could be just you, whatever the situation is. Maybe it's just about you taking your power back in general to figure out what's what. Okay, let's put those away. So in the present, I would say the overall energy, that protective energy, it probably is not at this point being excessively protective. Maybe for some it could be. I think it's more necessary at this point in time, but there is a need to be cautious about becoming overly protective to the point where it becomes an ego issue and you become too jaded and egotistical. Let's look at the Queen of Swords and Empress. I already said this is a potential future energy. It looks good because it looks like that's where you have the balance of still being nurturing, compassionate, caring, etc. But you have that sense of discernment there as well. And there's something with this ego thing as well, where I kept on talking about, I told you so's, about being careful of needing to prove that you're right, or if there's anyone else here who's in the situation, about them needing to prove that they're right, because that is an ego issue that can cause problems, can't it? Present, even if you are right, sometimes there's just ways of going about it, isn't there? Like, as I say, that whole I told you so thing, it's like if somebody F's up, it's like, yeah, you're right, they F'd up, they proved that they were going to F up, but you don't have to be an asshole about it and keep going, yeah, I told you so, I knew that was going to happen, and because that's just your ego talking, or mainly your ego talking. But anyway, Empress and the Queen of Swords. So we have the Eight of Wands, the Two of Cups, the Star. Let's get one more. I'm going to do the Eight of Wands on its own. Nope. Hermit, okay. Again, an energy, it might as well be the Hanged Man. It's figuring things out. It's blocking out the noise to figure out what the situation is. Let's do the Eight of Wands. And notice the opposites here. The Eight of Wands for me is a chaotic card. This particular one anyway is very chaotic. And then you've got the Hermit there, which is complete peace. And it's like cutting out the noise to figure out and understand what's going on, what the nature of the situation or relationship is. So let's do the Eight of Wands. Let's get one more. Yeah, that's the discernment. So I don't know the right way to say this. It's like, it's not cutting through the chaos, but that's the only way I can think of it. So whatever chaos is happening around you, or whatever chaos has happened, it's still cutting out the noise to figure out for yourself what feels right, what doesn't. The Two of Cups, that is sincerity, isn't it? That's sincerity. The Star, that is hope, that's faith. It is a positive energy. So again, it's cutting through the chaos, the noise, whatever, to figure out for yourself if this situation or situations in general are good, if people's intentions are positive, if things are genuine. I think I've said that already. But as I say, the Queen of Swords and the Empress, it's a good balance between being open. So I guess the way you could say it, the Empress is the sincerity-ometer and the Queen of Swords is the bullshit-ometer, and having a good balance of both. Could I put that in the title, or would that get... I'm not monetized, so it doesn't matter if I put bullshit-ometer, does it? Anyway, yeah, let's move on from that, because that's as much as I'm getting from that. So that looks like your potential future energy. But I think the heads up is watch the ego. Watch the ego to be that. And then the Star is the final card. That's your advice. Right, we'll keep that. That's the Sun. Knight of Cups, it's compassion. It said it here. Empathy, compassion, High Priestess. I mean, that's still using your intuition as well. Six of Wands. Okay, so I feel like with that Sun card, it's about giving things the opportunity to come to light. So again, with the ego, watch the ego, not jumping to conclusions. If there's a situation or a person that comes around and you're concerned about their sincerity, honesty, honorableness, if you want to put it that way, give them a chance to show who they are and what they're about, and use your discernment to see. Let them show who they are, whether it is positive or not. You know what I mean? Let them show it. Don't jump to conclusions. Let me just get one for that Six of Wands. So I've got the Ten of Wands, Seven of Cups. I feel like this is almost, with that Six of Wands, it's a weird, okay, so it's going to sound weird saying this, but it's like allowing yourself to grow more into that sense of, use what you've learned already, but also to grow even more with having that sense of discernment, of figuring out whether a situation or a person it's going to be difficult, whether there's any illusions, because the Seven of Cups can be illusions, and what how to proceed with that person or situation, but growing within that as well. It's like you've already celebrating, allow yourself to celebrate how far you've come and know that you've developed in that aspect, but also know that you can grow with it as well even more. I think that's it then. Okay, yep, that's it. So, yep. I'll leave that there and I'm going to get your final message. I hope that all makes sense because I know I talked a lot in that and there was a bunch of stuff coming up. But let's get your final message from the Sacred Rebels guidebook, or deck, should I say. Final message for Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising. What do they need to know? Please let it only be one message because these messages are really long and I only intend to read one, but if they're ambiguous, then I end up reading the other one as well. So one message for Virgo, Sun, Moon and Rising, please. One message for Virgo. One message for Virgo. Of course you get two. Right, you've got receiving, so I'm not going to read that. I will have a brief look in the book and see if there are any key points. That is all of this here. Softly, softly, the tender touch. So yeah, that's that one. Right, let me just have a little look at the receiving card just to see what I can get from that. Just bear with me. Right, so this one, it is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, it goes about it in a long-winded way, which is fine because I do love the messages in these books. But it literally is about receiving. As I say, if you've been in situations where you may have been too generous in the past or too compassionate, too nurturing, etc., people have taken advantage, whatever it is, it's a time for, which it appears you're probably doing that anyway, of receiving, letting people give to you, letting them show you who they are, you know, in that sense, receive. Receiving, receptivity. Right, so let's look at softly, softly, the tender touch now. So it says, and as I say, I feel like this is to do with that whole compassion, empathy, surrendering the ego, but let's see. It can be related to, it will speak of other things as well, but I feel like it's connected to that. But it says, the feminine wisdom of gentleness can assist you now. When we are at a point in life where we want to attain greater things, but don't necessarily have a proportionally greater supply of energy at our disposal, it is time to work smarter rather than harder. This is the way of feminine wisdom. However, a cultural ignorance of the feminine way currently prevails. We are generally taught that the more force we use, The more we try to make things happen, the more we will achieve. The feminine way is not about force, nor is it about driving, striving, pushing, or grabbing at what we can in order to create. It is about inviting what we wish for to come into the space we have provided for it, internally and in our lives. And I'm going to have to interrupt because I know for a fact I'm going to forget before I say it. That sentence, inviting what we wish for to come into the space we have provided, it reminds me of that sun card that came up about letting people or situations show you who they are, whether it's going to be good or bad. I'll give it the space to show you who it is or what it is. So it says, this method cultivates more energy, causes less stress, and attracts what is desired. It is manifestation by invitation rather than by will or force. There is an old story that the sun and the wind were debating about who was more powerful. After boasting about their prowess, that's the ego stuff, they made a wager and trying to prove who's right and who's wrong. A man walked down the street with a coat on. The wind and the sun decided that whomever could force the coat off the man was the most powerful. The wind began demonstrating its impressive power. It blew and caught underneath the coat, pulling it and nearly ripping it right off the man. But the man wrapped his coat around himself more tightly to protect himself against the force of the wind. Eventually, perhaps temporarily out of puff, the wind gave up. The sun took over. He shone down, becoming brighter and brighter until the man slipped off his coat, slung it over his shoulder and walked down the street, quite possibly wondering what was happening with the weather that day. The wind attempted to do by force what the sun was able to do by being. You are being asked to surrender your forcefulness, your determination, and your intense activity, even if it is just for this moment. Does this mean that you have to surrender the goals you were chasing through those endeavors? Certainly not. This is not about letting go of achievement. It is about understanding the process of manifestation in a more intelligent way. There is a way of creating that gives you energy that doesn't leave you utterly worn out. It is about allowing what you want to come to you. Be yourself absolutely, naturally, and with ease. Shine your light and allow your presence to invite that which you wish to receive. It is about cultivating an energetic affinity with what you seek, rather than feelings of lack and need. Do you see the subtle but important difference? To feel that you are already a naturally abundant being who gratefully invites more of what you want into your life is rather different to feeling lack, fear, and wishing your world would change. It is a bit like dressing for the job you want, even if it is not the job you have. You energetically embody what you wish to attract more of into your life. Like attracts like. This oracle brings you a message. You don't need to push quite so hard to receive what is naturally coming to you. Your push comes from a place of uncertainty over whether or not you will succeed. You need to relax and have more faith in yourself. All things come in time, rightfully and according to a great loving wisdom. You are not immune to this. You shall have your time and shine too. Rebel against any voice of fear within you or around you that tells you otherwise. It is okay to become softer, to feel the energy of what you wish to attract into your life, and to act as much as you can as though it is already the way. You are not fantasizing or daydreaming or failing to live in the real world if you do this. You are actually working with the feminine art of manifestation through gentle beingness and attraction. As you soften into becoming what you are seeking, what you wish for will not be able to resist your shining, inviting presence. This oracle also comes with a special message that you have been working very, very hard, you have learned much and accomplished much, but it is now time to change your approach. Let go of any force in your approach to creation now. Everything serves a purpose, and learning the benefits and limitations of the more forceful way of manifestation through effort and willpower was a useful lesson. However, if you were to continue with that approach, it would stop working for you now, because you are now beginning to create on a far grander scale that is beyond what an individual can manifest through willpower alone. You are individually creating through your healing and art, but also contributing globally to new consciousness through your own spiritual growth. You are part of a global healing manifestation process. You are, through your way of being in the world, helping to birth a new awareness. This new way will heal the human heart and bring it back into balance with nature. This is essential for the human soul to survive, flourish, and to cooperatively nurture the earth rather than destroy her natural resources. You may or may not be consciously aware of the extent to which this new way of manifesting through receiving, I'm not reading the receiving message, am I? Receiving rather than taking can actually help all of humanity. But nonetheless, it is playing an important role in greater human evolution. It is the power of attraction, of magnetism, rather than that of striving and force that will replenish your energy and restore your body and mind and heart after your struggle. This change in approach will encourage the shift from head to heart that is essential for your individual well-being and for the greater human evolution. You need to heal so that you can help heal the world to heal. Does this give you absolute permission now in your own mind to take an easier approach to your sacred, rebellious, creative manifestation? That was a mouthful. So I know they speak a lot about manifestation in this. And as I said, for me, I still feel like it's very much about being, it still plays into that whole thing about being more compassionate, etc. You know, that hardened exterior. I think one way in terms of manifestation that can play out with a hardened exterior is if you're looking for a relationship, but you have a really defensive hardened exterior. It's like, what the hell will you attract with that? It may seem like a good idea for the benefit of your ego to protect you from getting hurt. But if you put out that energy of a hardened exterior trying to attract a relationship, either it can scare people off altogether because they can't get in, or you might attract the same thing. And then it's like, how the hell are you going to have a relationship and intimacy if you overly protective? But yeah, I'll leave it there for you if you are still with me, because I know that was really long. Thank you as usual for watching. Feel free to like, share, comment on the video, subscribe to the channel. If you want a personal reading, see the info in the description box. Other than that, take care.